What if the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you want isn't your circumstances, your past, your luck, or even your abilities? What if it is the state of your mind in the moments when nobody is watching? Think about this for a moment. Every morning, before the world tells you who you should be, your mind is already receiving instructions. The thoughts you repeat, the images you replay, the emotions you practice, and the expectations you carry quietly shape the way you move through your day. And most people never realize this. They wait for something outside themselves to change before they allow themselves to feel confident. They wait for success before they feel successful. They wait for peace before they feel peaceful. They wait for the perfect opportunity before they believe they are ready. But there is another way. You can learn to change your internal state first. You can become still when everything around you is noisy. You can close your eyes and deliberately create a mental picture of the person you are becoming. You can breathe deeply, release tension, direct your attention, and teach your mind to stop rehearsing the life you fear and start rehearsing the life you desire. This is not about pretending that problems don't exist. It is about refusing to let your problems become the permanent identity of your mind. Because when you repeatedly enter a different mental and emotional state, you begin to notice different possibilities. You make different decisions. You carry yourself differently. You respond differently. And little by little, your behavior begins to match the vision you have been practicing internally. The secret is not simply thinking positive. The secret is learning how to deliberately enter the state from which your most powerful thoughts, decisions, and actions can emerge. And today, I want to show you how to do exactly that. Before you can change your circumstances, you must first understand the power of the state you carry within you. Your outer world may look unchanged, but the moment you change the way you think, feel, and respond, you begin creating a different experience of that same world. Most people spend their lives trying to rearrange everything outside themselves while carrying the same fears, doubts, frustrations, and expectations inside themselves. They change jobs, relationships, routines, environments, goals, and plans, yet they continue to carry the same internal conversation wherever they go. The secret begins when you realize that your internal state is not something insignificant happening in the background. It is the foundation from which you interpret everything. When you wake up believing that the day will be difficult, your mind begins searching for evidence that confirms that belief. A small inconvenience feels bigger. A delay feels like a disaster. A criticism feels personal. A mistake feels like proof that you are not capable. But when you train yourself to enter the day from a calmer and more focused state, the same circumstances can produce a completely different response. The situation may not change immediately. Your interpretation changes, your reaction changes, your choices change, and your choices gradually create different results. This is why the first step is not forcing the universe to give you what you want. The first step is becoming conscious of the state from which you are living. Ask yourself, what am I repeatedly thinking about? What emotion do I practice most often? What future am I mentally rehearsing every day? Am I constantly imagining failure, rejection, embarrassment, and disappointment? Or am I giving my mind images of courage, progress, peace, confidence, and possibility? Your mind learns through repetition. Whatever you repeatedly give your attention to becomes easier to return to. If you repeatedly practice fear, fear can become familiar. If you repeatedly practice doubt, doubt can become automatic. But if you repeatedly practice calmness, confidence, gratitude, and focused attention, those states can also become more familiar. This does not mean you should deny difficult emotions. You are human. You will experience disappointment, uncertainty, anger, sadness, and fear. The goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to stop allowing temporary emotions to become permanent identities. You can feel fear without becoming fear. You can experience doubt without allowing doubt to make every decision. You can have a difficult day without deciding that your entire life is difficult. That distinction is powerful. Your state is something you can practice. Close your eyes for a moment and take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders, release the tension in your face, let your breathing become steady. Then imagine yourself responding to life from a completely different place. See yourself walking with greater confidence. See yourself speaking with calmness. See yourself handling problems without immediately losing control. See yourself making decisions with clarity. Most importantly, feel what it would be like to become that version of yourself. You are giving your mind a new direction. And when you repeatedly practice that direction, you begin creating a mental pattern that can influence the way you behave when real situations appear. The transformation begins quietly. It begins inside you before anyone else can see it. And once you learn to consciously choose your internal state instead of automatically accepting whatever state the world gives you, you begin taking back a power you may have unknowingly surrendered for years. The most powerful shift often begins in a place most people overlook, the space between tension and relaxation. Your mind is constantly receiving information, sounds, conversations, responsibilities, notifications, memories, worries, plans, expectations, and unfinished thoughts compete for your attention from the moment you wake up. When your mind remains trapped in this constant activity, it becomes difficult to hear the deeper direction within you. You may want confidence, but your body is carrying tension. You may want peace, but your thoughts are racing. You may want clarity, but your attention is scattered across everything that could go wrong. This is why learning to deliberately enter a calm state is so important. You do not need a complicated ritual. You need consistency. Find a quiet place where you can sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take a slow, comfortable breath. Do not force the breath. Simply allow it to become slower and steadier. As you breathe, bring your attention to your body. Notice your forehead. Let it soften. Notice your jaw. Release the tension. Relax your shoulders. Allow your hands to become loose. Let your entire body become heavier and more comfortable. With every breath, imagine yourself moving away from the noise of the outside world and toward a deeper sense of inner stillness. You are not trying to stop every thought that would only create another struggle. Instead, you are learning to observe thoughts without automatically following them. A thought appears, you notice it. Then you gently return your attention to your breathing. Another thought appears, you notice it. Then you return again. This simple practice teaches your attention that you are the one directing it. Eventually, the mental noise begins to lose some of its power. In that calmer state, you can introduce a new mental picture. Imagine yourself already becoming the person you want to become. Do not simply see the final result. See yourself living differently. See yourself waking up with purpose. See yourself handling pressure with composure. See yourself working toward your goals even when motivation is low. See yourself speaking with confidence. See yourself making decisions from clarity rather than fear. Make the image as real as you can. Notice the environment. Notice your posture. Notice your expression. Notice how you breathe. Most importantly, connect the image with a constructive emotion. Feel gratitude for progress. Feel confidence in your ability to learn. Feel peace while moving forward. The purpose is not to convince yourself that every problem has magically disappeared. The purpose is to rehearse a better response to life. When you repeatedly practice calmness and focused visualization, you give your mind a different pattern to return to. And this is where the technique becomes powerful. You are no longer waiting for the outside world to give you permission to feel calm. You are practicing calmness before the circumstances become perfect. You are no longer waiting for success to make you confident. You are practicing the mental and emotional qualities that support confident action. Now, the more consistently you enter this relaxed state, the easier it becomes to access it. Eventually, a few slow breaths can remind your body and mind of the state you have practiced. A difficult conversation can become an opportunity to remain centered. A setback can become a moment to pause instead of react. A stressful situation can become a reminder to return to yourself. This is the beginning of conscious control over your internal state. And when you learn to become still on purpose, you create the mental space where a new vision can take root. Now that you have learned to quiet the noise and enter a calmer state, the next step is to give your mind a clear direction, because a relaxed mind without direction can easily return to old patterns. Your mind needs an image of where you are going. Most people spend enormous amounts of time imagining what they do not want. They imagine failure before they begin. They imagine rejection before they speak. They imagine losing before they compete. They imagine problems that have not happened yet. And then they wonder why they feel anxious about the future. The secret is to reverse that habit. Instead of constantly rehearsing the future you fear, begin mentally rehearsing the future you want to create. Close your eyes and imagine yourself already moving toward your desired life. Do not make the picture vague, give it detail. If you want greater confidence, imagine yourself standing confidently, speaking clearly, and making decisions without constantly seeking approval. If you want success in your work, imagine yourself focused, disciplined, organized, and completing meaningful tasks. If you want stronger relationships, imagine yourself communicating with patience, listening carefully, and expressing yourself honestly. If you want peace, imagine yourself remaining calm when circumstances become uncomfortable. The important part is that you are not merely watching a movie inside your head. You are mentally stepping into the experience. See what you would see, hear what you would hear, notice your surroundings, feel your posture, imagine the expression on your face. Pay attention to the emotional quality of the moment. What would confidence feel like? What would gratitude feel like? What would inner peace feel like? Let yourself experience those qualities while you visualize. This is where visualization becomes more than wishful thinking. You're creating a mental rehearsal. Athletes rehearse movements before competition. Musicians practice passages before performing. Speakers rehearse their words before standing before an audience. You can also rehearse the way you want to think, respond, and act. Imagine a difficult situation appearing in front of you. Instead of immediately reacting with fear, see yourself pausing, take a breath, relax your body, think clearly, then choose your response. You are teaching your mind a new possibility. You are showing yourself that a different reaction is available and repetition matters. One visualization session may inspire you, but consistent practice can make the desired response more familiar. Return to the same mental picture regularly. Strengthen it with emotion. Make it believable, then connect the vision with real action. If you visualize yourself becoming disciplined, take one disciplined action afterward. If you visualize yourself becoming confident, have the conversation you have been avoiding. If you visualize yourself becoming focused, complete the task you have been postponing. Your mental picture should not replace action. It should prepare you for action. The vision becomes powerful when your thoughts and behavior begin moving in the same direction. Every time you imagine the person you want to become and then act in alignment with that image, you create greater consistency between your inner world and your daily life. You are no longer allowing random thoughts to design your future. You are becoming intentional about the pictures you repeatedly place in your mind. So tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and create one clear picture of the person you are becoming. Do not focus on everything you want. Choose one meaningful transformation. See it, feel it, rehearse it, then carry that picture with you when you open your eyes and return to your day. There is something that makes a mental picture far more powerful than simply seeing an image in your mind. That something is emotion. You can imagine yourself standing on a stage, achieving a goal, becoming confident, or living a peaceful life. But if the image feels empty and disconnected, it may not influence you in the same way as a vision that you emotionally experience. Your mind does not respond only to words, it responds to meaning, and emotion gives meaning to the pictures you repeatedly create. Think about a memory from your past. You can remember a place, a person, or a particular moment, and suddenly an emotion returns. Maybe you feel happiness, maybe you feel sadness, maybe you feel pride, maybe you feel regret. The event is no longer happening, yet your mind can recreate part of the emotional experience. This shows you something important. Your imagination can influence how you feel in the present, so when you visualize the future you desire, do not simply watch yourself achieving something. Enter the experience. If you are visualizing confidence, feel the steadiness in your body. Imagine breathing calmly. Imagine speaking without rushing. Imagine looking at challenges without immediately assuming you will fail. If you are visualizing success, do not focus only on the reward. Feel the satisfaction of knowing that you stayed committed. Feel gratitude for the progress. Feel the quiet confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself. If you are visualizing peace, Experience the sensation of releasing unnecessary tension. Let your shoulders relax. Let your breathing become slower. Imagine waking up without immediately carrying yesterday's problems into today. The goal is not to force yourself into artificial excitement. You do not have to shout affirmations or pretend that everything is perfect. Sometimes the most powerful emotional state is quiet certainty, a calm feeling that says, I am moving forward, a calm feeling that says, I can handle what comes next, a calm feeling that says, I do not need everything to be perfect before I begin practice that feeling repeatedly. When you combine a clear mental picture with a meaningful emotional state, your visualization becomes more immersive. And the more immersive the mental rehearsal becomes, the easier it can be to remember the qualities you want to bring into your real behavior. But there is an important distinction. Emotion does not mean that you must ignore reality. You can acknowledge problems while choosing how you will meet them. You can recognize uncertainty while practicing confidence. You can experience disappointment while maintaining hope. You can feel fear while still taking courageous action. The goal is not to eliminate every uncomfortable emotion. The goal is to stop allowing uncomfortable emotions to control every decision. Begin each visualization by relaxing your body. Take several slow breaths. Create your mental picture. Then ask yourself what emotion the person you are becoming would naturally carry. Maybe it is confidence, maybe it is gratitude, maybe it is patience, maybe it is courage, maybe it is peace. Choose one, then allow yourself to experience it for a few moments. Repeat the process regularly. Over time, you are practicing more than an image. You are practicing a way of being. And when that emotional state becomes familiar, you can begin bringing it into ordinary moments. You can breathe before answering an argument. You can pause before reacting to criticism. You can remain composed when plans change. You can remind yourself of your vision when motivation disappears. The future you imagine becomes useful when it changes the way you show up today. That is where the real power of emotional visualization begins. Your mind is speaking to you all day long. Sometimes the voice is encouraging, sometimes it is doubtful, sometimes it is critical, sometimes it repeats the same fears you have carried for years. You may not even notice how often you speak to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. You make one mistake and your mind says, I always fail. You face one rejection and your mind says, nobody will ever believe in me. You experience one difficult day and your mind says, nothing ever works out. These statements may feel like simple thoughts, but when they are repeated again and again, they can become familiar mental patterns. The fifth step is learning to become conscious of that internal conversation and deliberately redirect it. This does not mean pretending that everything is perfect. It means refusing to turn one difficult moment into a permanent conclusion about yourself. Instead of saying, I always fail, ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, I cannot do this, say, I can learn how to do this. Instead of saying, everything is against me, say, this is difficult, but I can choose my next step. The difference may appear small, but the direction of your thinking changes. Your mind begins looking for possibilities instead of only searching for evidence of defeat. This practice becomes especially powerful when combined with the relaxed state and visualization you have already learned. After calming your body, create your mental picture. See yourself responding to life with greater confidence. Then introduce a short statement that supports that vision. Keep it simple. I am becoming calmer. I trust myself to take the next step. I can learn. I can improve. I choose my response. I am capable of changing my patterns. Do not repeat words mechanically. Connect them with the image you created. If you say, I am becoming confident, see yourself speaking confidently. If you say, I am becoming disciplined, imagine yourself completing the task even when you do not feel motivated. If you say, I choose calmness, imagine yourself remaining composed during a stressful moment. Your words become more meaningful when your mind can connect them with an experience, and repetition matters. A new thought may feel unnatural at first because the old pattern has been repeated for a long time. Do not judge yourself because of that. When an old thought appears, simply recognize it. There it is again. Then redirect your attention. You do not need to fight the thought. You do not need to become angry with yourself. You simply choose a better direction. Imagine walking through a forest and discovering that you have been following the same path for years. You cannot erase the old path, but you can begin walking in another direction. Every time you choose a constructive thought, You take another step. Every time you respond differently, you strengthen the new direction. Every time you stop repeating an old story, you create space for a new one. Eventually, the new pattern can begin to feel more natural. You become more aware of what you say internally. You notice when fear is exaggerating the situation. You notice when your mind is predicting failure without evidence. You notice when one mistake is trying to define your entire identity, and instead of automatically believing every thought, you learn to question it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, choose another thought that is honest, constructive, and aligned with your direction. Your inner conversation becomes a daily practice, and every day gives you another opportunity to teach your attention where to go. The final step is where everything becomes real. You can relax your body, you can calm your mind, you can visualize the person you want to become, you can connect your vision with powerful emotions. You can replace destructive inner conversations with constructive ones, but none of these practices should remain trapped inside your imagination. The real transformation begins when you carry your new state into ordinary life. Your goal is not to feel peaceful for 10 minutes and then return to the same automatic reactions for the rest of the day. Your goal is to practice becoming the person you have imagined while life is actually happening. This is where your awareness becomes powerful. Imagine that someone says something that normally triggers you. The old pattern may tell you to react immediately, but now you pause. You breathe, you relax your body, you remember the state you practiced. Then you choose your response. That small pause may seem insignificant, but it represents something important. You are no longer allowing the first emotional reaction to control your behavior. You are creating space between what happens and what you choose to do. That space is where personal power grows. The same principle applies to your goals. If you have visualized yourself as disciplined, prove it through one disciplined action. If you have visualized yourself as confident, take one action that requires courage. If you have visualized yourself as focused, put your attention on one important task and finish it. If you have visualized yourself as peaceful, practice remaining calm during an uncomfortable conversation. Your actions become evidence for the identity you are building. You do not need to transform your entire life in one day. Choose small moments. When you wake up, take a few breaths before reaching for your phone. Before beginning important work, close your eyes for a moment and remember your vision. When anxiety appears, slow your breathing and return your attention to the present. When you make a mistake, replace self-attack with a useful question. What can I learn from this? When someone disappoints you, remember that you can choose your response even when you cannot control another person's behavior. These moments become your training ground. The world does not need to become perfect for you to practice a better state. In fact, difficult moments are often where the practice becomes most valuable. Anyone can feel calm when everything is going perfectly. The real test is whether you can remember your calmness when something unexpected happens. Anyone can feel confident after receiving praise. The deeper practice is maintaining self-respect when someone doubts you. Anyone can feel motivated when success is visible. The deeper practice is continuing when the results are still developing. This is how your internal state becomes part of your daily identity. You stop treating calmness as something you visit occasionally. You begin carrying it with you. You stop treating confidence as something you need permission to feel. You begin practicing it through your decisions. You stop waiting for the perfect future to become the person you want to be. You begin expressing that person through your choices today. Take your vision into the morning. Take it into your work. Take it into your relationships. Take it into moments of pressure. Take it into moments when nobody is watching. And whenever you forget, simply return. Breathe, relax, visualize, feel, choose, act. Then repeat. You are not trying to control every event around you. You are learning to become more intentional about the state from which you meet those events. And when your thoughts, emotions, attention, and actions begin moving in the same direction, your life starts reflecting the person you are deliberately choosing to become. So remember, your power does not begin tomorrow. It begins in the state you choose today. When the world becomes noisy, return to stillness. When fear becomes loud, return to your vision. When doubt appears, return to the person you are becoming. Breathe deeply, relax your mind. See the life you desire. Feel the strength within you. And then take one real step toward it. You do not have to change everything overnight. You only have to stop allowing yesterday's patterns to control tomorrow's possibilities. Your mind is listening to what you repeatedly tell it. Your emotions are responding to what you repeatedly practice. Your actions are following what you repeatedly believe. So choose your thoughts carefully. Choose your inner state consciously. Choose your direction courageously. Because the moment you stop waiting for the outside world to change before you change within, you discover that transformation has already begun. Now close your eyes, take one deep breath, and remember, the life you want begins with the state you choose to live from.